Farhat Outstanding Attorney Award. This award, Mr. Farhat was a former Ingham County prosecutor and was a top-notch trial lawyer who set the bar for our community. He was universally regarded as an exceptional attorney, but more importantly, a remarkable man. This year's recipient, Nichols, has been tireless, energetic, and certainly a zealous advocate in the field of law that he practices in. He and his wife Wendy have operated the Nichols law firm, which he has developed a statewide practice. He is described by those who nominated him as a juggernaut trial attorney in the area of drunk and drugged driving. He is a frequent author, lecturer, and participant on local and state bar committees. He is also a faithful MSU Spartan fan. I didn't see you after the game this year, Mike. Please join me, and I have to say, I've known Mike Nichols since he was a pesky reporter for Channel 10. And we were just talking about that earlier. I guess I thought it was about 15 years ago. He told me it was more like 25 or so. He had the age of me. But at this time, our award winner, the Leo Farhat Outstanding Attorney Award, Mr. Mike Nichols. Mike. Come up with a glass of water. You got the jam on that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
It's a prop. Members of the bench and bar, members of the board, Chairwoman Chartier, Chuck Barbieri, you told me 3 minutes, but you didn't say no props. Your mistake. Members of the Brennan family, I am a proud graduate of the Thomas M. Cooley Law School. Night program. I went to the night program 2 nights a week. While I worked at Channel 10, chasing around people like Hugh Clark and Frank Reynolds and some of you others. So I'm humbled by this award. I want to start by thanking Wendy, my beautiful wife and law partner. I'm not going to get through what I was going to say. Just not going to do it. I just want to say thank you for keeping the wheels on the bus turning. You are awesome. Your dad was proud of you, and I am too. And I love you. We lost Fred, Wendy's dad, this past month, and he was a great man. Right now, it's opening day of firearm deer season. He's in the blind in heaven. For sure. My kids, Lauren Ashley Nichols, Christian Charles Nichols, and Morgan Marie Nichols, thank you for your sacrifices. They are not unnoticed. All those moments I'm on the cell phone or talking to a client, talking to a lawyer on the laptop, whatever. You guys, your sacrifices are so, I'm so blessed by all of you, and I'm really proud of the people who you are becoming. Now, let's bring the microphone down for a short guy. Leo, as I understand it, wanted his law firm to be like his family. And I like my law firm to be like a family atmosphere and a family environment. And members of our firm are here. Karen Phillips, for 10 years you've been one of the best lawyers who's just kind of flown under the radar. James Hios, still kicking ass. Matt Hios, Chris Wickman, you guys are all great lawyers. I am proud to share letterhead with each and every one of you. Law clerks who are here, Aaron Martinez, very talented young man. You did a great video. That was much appreciated. Aaron Bell, Cassius Winston, you guys are going places, and I thank you. You guys have been a family to me. And another member of my family, Frank Reynolds, Leo Farhat Award winner in 2001. Frank, my mentor, my teacher, I learned so much about you know, you can learn a lot about the Fourth Amendment during a Frank Reynolds cigarette break. I learned so much about how to try a case, how to prepare a case, how to represent people, how to do it with class during Frank Reynolds smoke breaks. It was almost worth the secondhand smoke exposure. And I'm very proud of you for quitting smoking. I know that was hard those years ago, but Frank, more than that, you've been a father figure to me, and I thank you. Frank's here with his wife, Patty. Patty, thank you for all those late night phone calls, early morning phone calls, weekend phone calls, weekend meetings at the office, weekend meetings at your house. Your sacrifices have been not only a benefit to Frank's clients, but the hundreds of people who've been represented by all of us who were trained and taught by Frank. Richard Krause, with his wife, Mindy. Richard, you may not know it, but you have been such a great influence on me. I'm almost smarter whenever I'm in the room with you. And judges, Judge Larkin's here, Judge Dragonchuck, Judge Clark. You see a brief from me and you think, that's a really good argument. That's a really good argument. Or you hear me in court and you think, I like that. I like what he said. It's probably because I ran it by Richard. He talked me off the ledge for all the stupid things I was about to say. Richard embraced me 18 years ago on a case that Frank assigned to me, People versus Hudson. I know we shouldn't say client names, but it's a Court of Appeals published case. What a brilliant tactician he was leading us, and thank you from that point forward, teaching me so much. And thank you for talking me off the ledge so many times, including today. Andrew Abood, my good friend, who pushes me off the ledge when I need to be pushed off the ledge. One of the smartest lawyers and one of the best guys on his feet I've ever seen. And probably out of all of us in the room, and I don't know all of you, but this man has one of the biggest hearts out of anybody in the Lansing legal community. We'll do a case and not get paid. I don't know if Andrew, you got paid. I'm pretty sure you did. I remember 12 years ago, a very notorious murder case in Ingham County, and I'm sitting there on a Sunday morning in the Ingham County Jail with Andrew. It's like the day before trial, and we're going to be 8 weeks in trial. Wendy and I have just opened up a law firm, and I'm standing there, and Andrew says, how about we're a poor man's Fred Abood and a poor man's Frank Reynolds? True story, Frank. And I said, are you kidding me? I hope not. Because those guys were really good. And this is a big case. But Andrew, I want to say this. Thank you for making me better, pushing me every day to make me better, and for being such a good friend. George Zoulakis, not only a hell of a dresser, but I watched you cover a case, People versus Nowak, another published appellate case, so I'm not going to say the name, when I was a news reporter, and you did such an awesome job. That had an impact on me, and you may not even know it, but I've never seen anyone be wrong and then right and then wrong and then right on one issue, and then right and then wrong and then right and wrong on another issue. And throughout the years, you were always there for me. You checked in on me, and you always told me, take care of yourself. Don't worry about taking advantage of every billable moment. Take care of yourself. And I've never really followed that advice the way I should. And George also, like Frank, recently retired. I hope it's not true. I hope you stay busy, but I want you to keep taking care of yourself. And thank you for everything that you've done for me and your friendship. Judge Clark, who was once known as Hugh Clark. I think I said in a video that Aaron and I did a couple years ago that he was one of the best, maybe the best cross-examiner I've ever seen. I covered, as a news reporter, one of his cases, Firegate. I hate to tell you, but it was like 1994. And his wheels were always spinning. He was always thinking, always listening. Nothing got past him in court. And then, you know, when the years went by and I became a lawyer and I would talk to Hugh about Judge Clark, about cases, we had a couple of cases where we had co-defendants. We would talk about what this witness has to say and what this theory is. I've got the best Hugh Clark quote out of anybody. Here's what it was. What do you think about what this witness is going to say? Did you read that? Yeah. Okay, let's go forward. Let's cross the finish line. But when I was a news reporter in law school, I remember I'd run into then Hugh Clark, and he would say, man, keep working on it, keep knocking down those semesters. You're getting it done, because that's not easy doing night school, let me tell you, when you're working full-time, even though being a news reporter isn't much. Thank you for that encouragement and that counseling, and throughout the years, giving me words of advice. Frank, I got a picture of you from your retirement party. I blew up a picture of just a few of us who you've trained and taught and worked with. We didn't have Judge Baird there, but we had George Dulakis there at your retirement party. I signed it. I'm going to try to get it signed by everybody. I also want to say that while I thank the board and I'm humbled by the privilege of standing before all of you, if I were in the room, I'm just going to get heavy for just a second. I'd have voted for somebody else. I'd have voted for Matt Newberg. Now, Matt's not here because his wife's uncle died at 51 of unexpected causes. And I talked to Judge Cunningham and Judge Aquilina before tonight about this. This is Matt on I think it was the last day of the sentencing on a very notorious case that he had, standing in front of his client when the father of the victim rushed the defense table. And I talked to Matt a lot at the end of this proceeding. And I remember this morning we talked and he said, you know, it's Friday morning, I'm going to get through this, it's like the last day, these people are going to speak, and I'm going to get the weekend with my wife, Shannon, and her family. And I look at this as one of those everyday opportunities that each and every one of us get. Whether you're a judge, a prosecutor, or a trial lawyer, or a civil lawyer, every time you get a chance to stand up in a moment that seems insignificant or tedious, because sometimes our jobs feel tedious, we do the same thing over and over again, but it's big on the other end. I mean, he sees this guy, and we talked about it, coming out of the corner of his eye, and he stands up, and he's doing his job. Isn't that an example of doing your job? That's awesome. And I appreciated that. I've never been more proud to be a lawyer. So, I just want to say in closing, embrace those everyday moments. We are the last line of defense between tyranny and democracy. We lawyers. We lawyers. Embrace those everyday opportunities, those small moments, because it's us. It's us to stand between the rule of law and the rule of man. Thank you.
Nice.